What's going on, everyone? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys a bit of a different type of review today, and that's going to be a whole volume review, the volume that is Zelda Twilight Princess. Now, I just actually ended up receiving, finally, Volume 1. I had Volume 2, 3, and 4. Volume 5 just got released, and I've collected a lot of the Zelda volumes over the year by Akira Himikawa, who is, of course, two people. I forget their names. I'll just double check here. It's a collaboration work between A. Honda and S. Nagano. I probably butchered those names, but either way, I've collected these since Ocarina of Time came out. I have the Oracle ones, Majora's Mask, all that fun jazz, right? So these are incredible kind of non-canon depictions of the game that lead a little more story, leave a little more, Link is not the silent protagonist. For those of you who don't know, these have been running quite a long time, and Twilight Princess seems to be split into more than 4 or 5 volumes. It's going to be split into quite a long, and I mean, to be fair, the game has a lot to go on. Of course, it's one of the biggest Zelda games to date, still to this day. I have not played Breath of the Wild. I know, don't shoot the messenger, but this manga series is something worth promoting and talking about. So I just wanted to quickly promote this. I'll be making separate videos for each of the volumes, sort of idea. Volume 5, of course, came out, but I don't have it yet. So I'll try to do like one a week, so to speak, and we'll be all caught up by the time the next volume sort of shows up. Maybe Volume 5's the end, but I've read up to Volume 4, and I really doubt they fit everything into just one more volume. So I'm pretty sure this is going to go on for probably about 7-8 volumes by the pacing of it. So either way, I just thought I'd promote this. Zelda Twilight Princess Volume 1. Now, right off the bat, there's a lot of changes to the canon. It's quite strange because when you look at some of the older games, when you look at things like even Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, the Oracle games, they have a lot of story just right off the bat. They have quite a bit of story, but it's taken by the authors here, by the mangakas, it's taken quite a bit of a different turn, and they like to add a lot of things. But Twilight Princess had an insane amount, a high level of story, detailed characters, a lot of scenes. Like unlike Ocarina of Time, they expanded upon Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and gave us something even far grander with all the cutscenes and stuff. It wasn't just go to A, go to B, go to A, go to B. There was a lot more involved. There was kidnappings of NPCs. There was saving people. There was memory losses. There was meeting new characters and the way that all the characters interact. The world felt so much more alive. Twilight Princess was an incredible game. In this series, though, they still add a lot, and they took away a lot. Now, I'm not 100% on why they did what they did here in Volume 1. Don't get me wrong, I've so far read up to Volume 4, and I have really, really enjoyed their depiction. Same with Ocarina of Time. Maybe my favorite thing is that when I go to that fire temple, ladies and gentlemen, just spoilers sort of idea, but if you haven't read the Ocarina of Time one, I suggest you do, because you will not look at Volvagia the same way ever again if you ever replay the game. So, and that's good. That's a good new depiction. Like, we're taking the same material and we're just gonna, sort of the same thing that Peter Jackson did with Lord of the Rings. The story's still the same. They just told their own version of it, not exactly 100% line by line, page by page from a book. But the basic plot of this, of course, is still the same. One of the things, though, that I want to bring up right off the bat, and this will be heavy, heavy spoilers for people who have not finished Twilight Princess the game. So I'll give you, 1, 2, 3. I think we're good. Because right off the bat, we see, we already meet Midna in her, she is the Twilight Princess. This is her form, and she says her name. It's like literally like page 2 or 3. She says, "My name is Midna. I am known as the Twilight Princess," and she shows herself in her full adult form. You could have garnered that, guessed that. There was definitely something going on with her, but we never saw a scene like that. So right off the bat, they're taking away that surprise. But then again, I suppose they figure that most people that have played, that read these novels, read these manga, have also, of course, played the game. So it's not really, there's not really going to be any hidden, crazy, super cool meanings or anything like that, right? No big reveals that we don't already know. But here in this one, and the art, as you guys can just look at that. Like, the art is incredible. It's so well done. The depictions of all the characters, the depictions of, Link is always looking, he's always looked really good and stuff. And yeah, like this is just it's such a well drawn, well thought out book. Now, the thing is that the changes that are there are definitely interesting, and this is what I'm talking about. That even if you've played the game, even if you know the story, and even right off the bat in the first few pages, they already give you the hidden identity of Midna. Who is the Twilight Princess? The Twilight Realm. Here's Zant. Here's this. Here's that. And you get all that information. This has other things going for it. Other things that lead you to intrigue yourself as to who, why, what. For example, the Golden Wolf is an actual protector of the Twilight Princess. Okay, that's a new element. That's a change from the manga. Link is from a village on the border of Hyrule that trained swordsmen. He wasn't always from Ordon Village, and he was trained there, and he only showed up there a year and a half ago, right? And he's been taken in by the village. And just the changes to his dynamic. Of course, when you have a speaking protagonist, it's going to be a lot different. But we are so intrigued by the link between, because he was basically pulling an Arthur Pendragon. He was, they were training, of course, and he's left-handed, so he's got an edge, sort of like the left rules the world sort of idea. With in boxing, if you're a southpaw, it's the same with Link. Of course, Link being notoriously left-handed, even though I actually played the GameCube version of the game when it first came out, so that screws up. Everything was flipped, but nonetheless, in the manga, he's never held a sword. Epona was his the whole time. It's actually the mayor that asks him to go and present the sword to Hyrule Castle, and he adamantly refuses to do this. He's having dreams. He's ordering a lot of books, trying to figure out what happened. He's got this dark past. There's all these different things, and of course, there's also there's just so many different changes, right? Because we see that Link is a fully fleshed out character right off the bat. In this first novel, he's got so much depth right away that you want to know, okay, what is the reason? What's going on here? And we see, as people who have played the game, we see the hero spirit, the ancient hero, the Golden Wolf in swordsman form. He's the one who dragged Link down and saved him from the destruction of... Basically, it reminds me very Full Metal Alchemist. I'm assuming that whoever, the mangakas that made this together, the collaborators, they definitely watched Full Metal Alchemist. Not that it's the only time this has happened in manga or story format, but the whole... The whole Xerxes disappeared in a single night, the Philosopher's Stone sort of idea, and that doesn't give away anything from Full Metal Alchemist, but that's in the first few episodes. There's the town of Xerxes that was destroyed in a single night, and nobody knows what happened. Link basically is a survivor of that same idea. He pulls the sword, there's the hero spirit, he's all screwed up, and he thinks it's a death god or a bad omen or a demon, and then he shows up in the desert with nothing but the clothes on his back. There's no town, there's no villagers, there's no nothing, and he has no idea what happened. So he is continuously researching magic books with ancient texts and stuff, trying to figure out an answer. He wants an answer, and he believes that he's the cause because he pulled the sword and shit went down. Of course, he had the Triforce on the back of his hand, right? Triforce of Courage will always be with Link. Now, and he's also a reluctant hero throughout this story. So I really enjoyed this first volume. This first volume went a totally different direction than I thought. As I said, the opening pages were just wow, because not only the artwork, but okay, we know who the Twilight Princess is. This is Midna. Here's Zant. Here's the Golden Wolf. Here, we're jumping right in. And I was just flabbergasted. I almost had to, actually, before I made this video, I had to go and look up the plot and a couple of YouTube videos of the scenes, just because I don't have my GameCube hooked up, just to make sure of the changes that I was correct, because I was like, I don't remember this or that or the other thing, going through this. I don't remember all these things, and that's because they were major changes in the way they want to tell the story of Twilight Princess. So, either way, I just really enjoyed it. As I said before, the artwork is absolutely, flawless as always. It always looks really good. And the fight scenes and everything look great. And you have these, daunting things and stuff like that. One of the big changes is, of course, we saw that when the Boblins, or whatever they're called, the Moblin sort of esque characters in Twilight Princess, the fodder, and of course their king leader, that bandit, that goblin king that you fight multiple times in the game, they show up to the spring. Of course, they knock Link out, but in this tale, ladies and gentlemen, in this one, Link actually fights back. He's got the sword from Russell. He's fighting back, and it's pretty gruesome. There's blood, there's damage, there's a very fan favorite Kubo-esque thing. Let's lose a few limbs now and again, and it leads into a lot of detail, a lot of intrigue, and the end of the volume is really good because we finally, we're getting into the thick of things here. It follows the basic premise of the game once again, and I don't really want to spoil too much in the volume itself, but these are going to be heavy spoilers, of course, as I said before, for Twilight Princess, the game, if you haven't played. But the volume simply ends with him first entering the Twilight realm and meeting Midna for the first time. He turns into his wolf form, and he meets Midna. That's where volume 1 ends. So right off the bat, you know that this is going to be lengthy. I mean, look at the size. It's a regular-sized manga volume, and we've just entered the Twilight realm, and that's it. So you know that these are going to go on for quite a long time, and that's great. That's so good. I can't wait for more of this series. I can't wait for Skyward Sword, which for some reason people don't like. I love it. I think it's a great game. It's not the best in the series. That goes to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess being the 3 best games. I have not played Breath of the Wild. Here it's the greatest game of all time. I'll give it a shot once I get a Switch. But yeah, so this is such a great story, great volume, great manga. If you guys are any type of video game lover, if you like Zelda at all, you will love this. And if you haven't played Twilight Princess or you didn't really care for Twilight Princess, I urge you to read this. But if you're not that into it, of course, Majora's Mask, Link to the Past, Oracle games, Ocarina of Time, they are all there. Ocarina of Time split into 2 volumes, and there are big, Viz-Big Master editions and stuff like that with the whole thing in them. So I urge you to go pick one up. They're the same price as a regular manga volume. I just really like this. I want to talk more about this. As I said, I really like the changes going on in the story with Link and his whole dark past and everything, and as I explained, it's similar to Full Metal Alchemist with the Xerxes thing. I really like that he seems to be a very flawed character, and they add a lot of the things, like the whole him fishing and the goat herding and rescuing the cat. They add all that little bits at the very beginning of the game into it, but it flows so much better. The kids are all there with Colin and Tallow and all that stuff. You see the mayor, you got Russell. At the beginning of the game, Russell, you're already his apprentice, so to speak, at the beginning of the game. In this one, he's being invited to be the next swordsman, to be one of the other swordsmen to guard the village. And of course, he's very reluctant. Link says, I've never held a sword, never done this, never done that. He reveals his past to Russell and all that stuff. And it's a bit of a heartfelt moment. As I said before, the battle in the springs goes very different. What else? Of course, we never really meet Midna, and he's been having dark dreams. He has dreams about this golden wolf, and he keeps seeing the golden wolf right off the bat, much sooner than in the game and stuff. And that's really cool because, as we all know, or I believe in the popular theory, I don't know if it's ever been truly stated. I don't know if that's been changed or yet. But, of course, the hero spirit, the golden wolf, is the hero of time. He is the original hero of time from 100 years ago who battled Ganondorf, who saved Hyrule, who did all that stuff. Which timeline he's from, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's the adult that's now lost in time or whatever, or if he's the child all grown up and died without being a hero. I kind of forget. I think he's supposed to be the child one, who, of course, is not remembered for saving Hyrule because nobody remembered it even happened. So even though he was a hero and all that stuff, he had to leave the Master Sword behind, had to leave Navi behind, and he went on to have a Majora's Mask-esque, adventure, but he's still not the hero of time any longer in that timeline. So I believe that's the one that we're meeting here after 100 years. Either way, I really enjoy it. I'll talk more in depth about Volume 2 because there's a lot more to unpack. I just wanted to list the changes here, the pumpkins, the dumping of the Ordon pumpkins at the bridge and stuff. There's quite a few changes from the original game and stuff in the story, but it's really good. It still follows the same basic plot, and of course, I can't stop praising this art. This is that old-fashioned 90s art style, polished up to look in a very classic anime format. This is the type of style that I myself would love to be able to draw. If I could draw styles like this, I'd be drawing manga every day of my life because this is the type of art that I love to see. This to me is just so damn good. One of my top favorite mangas is the whole Zelda series in general. It's got to be in my top 10. It really does. If not just for the clean art style alone, that very fantasy element look to the anime art style. So That being said, guys, I think I've done enough promoting here and everything. And look, I mean, this is my first recording, and I haven't even messed up. I don't think I've stumbled over too many words. That's like a first for everything. Usually, as I've told you guys many times before, it takes me like 5 or 6 times to say, "Hey guys, go shit. Hey guy, go you know, I do that all the time, you know, and I usually have to cut all that stuff away. But I don't think I have to do that this time. I don't believe I messed up at the beginning, so that's really cool. I can't believe I did this all in one take, but. As I said, it's very unstructured. This is very informal. It's simply promoting you guys. If you love Zelda and you don't know about these manga series, please pick them up. Please read them. I would just, as I said, I just got volume 1 to finish off 1, 2, 3, 4 today. So I reread them all today, and I just wanted to talk about them. I think they're so fantastic. Of course, not just the Twilight Princess, but all the other mangas as well by the collaboration known as Akira Himekawa. So either way, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it for me. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. It's always very much appreciated. This has been Griever with your, I guess, Zelda Twilight Princess Volume 1 review. And stay tuned for Volume 2 review, 3, 4, and once I get Volume 5, of course, I'll be doing that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want me to talk about anything more specific about the volumes and stuff, once again, this is just very informal. Me simply promoting such a great series, more so than just like a chapter by chapter review of going panel by panel, but just noting things I liked or didn't like, or changes that I thought were cool, or why they did them, etc., etc. But if you guys want me to talk more in depth chapter by chapter, or if you guys want me to do, you know, talk about in a different way, as I said, just let me know down in the comment section down below. Constructive criticism, it's always great. This has been Griever, guys. Drink responsibly on this beautiful Sunday, and we'll see you back here next time. Peace.